Good evening and welcome to the Sports Locker. Now, if you've been scrolling through social media lately, chances are you've seen people pushing weighted sleds, jumping over hurdles, rowing like their lives depend on it, all while somehow still finding the legs to run. That's HYROX, part running race, part gym workout, and entirely brutal. It started in Germany in 2017 and has grown into one of the biggest fitness competitions on the planet, with over 1 million people expected to take part this season alone. Tonight we have two of Gibraltar's own who are absolutely smashing it, Justin Collado and Travis Collado. Guys, thank you very much for coming along. For anyone tuning in now, explain a little bit about what is HYROX.
HYROX, it's a time-based race where you have 1 kilometer run followed by a station times 8. So it's basically you're completing a 1 kilometer run, you're doing a station, and you're doing that 8 times to get as fast as possible in plan, basically.
It sounds brutal, I'm sure it is brutal.
Yeah.
It is brutal, especially when you take it to paces where you're constantly on the red line for the whole hour.
The last recent one was in Malaga, and you guys did something spectacular, sub 60 minutes. Que se dice fácil, but really puts you in the top percentile for anyone really that does HYROX.
Yeah, it was a very, very special day. We've really worked very hard to get that time over the last 5 months, especially with the training block.
More or less, yeah.
It's been tough, but it's been extremely rewarding, to be honest.
It was about time we got it, to be fair. We missed it twice. We've been on the edge, very close. This time was special, as Travis said, because we had family members and we more or less knew that we were going to be just in the line. So it was special to do it there in Malaga, close by his family, friends, my family, my friends, all supporting us.
Walk us through the format then, kind of what happens on actual race day when you get there.
So you start in a start box, we have a countdown. And for example, in Malaga, it's 1 kilometer run. So you have to run around 3 times and you go into the in-arch. When you run in, you'll go to the first station. In this situation is a ski erg, where you have to do 1,000 meters in the ski erg. You then run out again and you do that 8 times, and it's a ski erg, a sled push, a sled pull, burpee roll jumps, row, farmer's carry, sandbag lunges, and wall balls. And in between each station is a run, basically.
So for anyone that perhaps does marathons or anyone that competes in weightlifting-based competitions, how would you describe this as different in terms of atmosphere?
It is true that loads of marathon triathletes are jumping into the HYROX circuit, but at the same time, yes, running is important, but if you can't manage the spike of your heart rate when doing burpees, when doing lunges, when doing wall balls, or maybe in the ski erg and rower, which has become a recovery exercise for us. If you can't manage your heart rate, no matter if you're a runner, you'll end up like bursting up in energy, because people just think I'm a runner, it's going to be easy because most of it is running, pero it's in the stations where you see the people who recover to run fast in the kilometers.
Yeah, I think it's very unique in the sense that you can be a very good runner or push a lot of weight. But with HYROX, you need to be able to run with lactic acid. So your legs are basically, they're fried, and you still have to be expected to run your solid paces throughout the whole race, which if you're a runner, you're not used to really clearing the lactic after pushing 150 kilo sled, for example. It's a very specific type of training, and it's very unique, if that makes sense.
In terms of nutrition then, because I imagine people that just do long distance running will focus on a certain type of nutrition before long races. People that do weightlifting will do differently. What's your nutrition like? What does it consist of, knowing that you're going to do a bit of both to the extreme?
Yeah, so there is the element of, for example, like carb loading in a sense, but it's not as vato as a marathon. But I think it's just the normal thing of just training. Like, your food is your fuel at the end of the day. What you put into your body is what you're going to be using for the workout. So if you're putting in whole foods and you're putting yourself in a good situation to have good food, you're definitely going to be feeling a lot better, and you're going to be able to train a lot better.
On my side, I try to eat over my maintenance constantly in terms of protein, carbs and stuff, as I do most of the days double sessions. So just make sure my body has the correct fuel to tackle each session the way I should. Yeah. So I don't really make a big fuss of weighing my food or anything else. Just making sure I'm eating the correct thing, not to lose weight, to keep my strength and to become faster.
Yeah.
It's become a hugely popular global event now. I mean, tell us a bit about why you think it's become so popular now.
Well, I I never had any like, I never liked sports, to be honest. I never got into running. I wasn't a football type. I've tried it, but I never found like my place. I did a lot of weightlifting, but then I kind of got the itch for wanting to do cardio, but there wasn't any type of sport or event that kind of mixed it until I found HYROX. So I think it's very good at combining people who like weightlifting and running. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. And it's honestly like HYROX training just keeps you incredibly fit in general.
I know. Sorry, yeah, I was going to say, yeah, in general, I mean, that's what you've been your whole life, Justin, because I know you've been really into fitness now.
Yeah. I mean, football, CrossFit.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this something, because you've done it all in terms of fitness, is this something that excited you when you saw it come around? Did you feel like this is my chance to be reborn now in terms of fitness?
To be fair, I always told him at first when we met, you'll see when I start running, because running was not something I used to do. I used to do CrossFit, which is more like the station, sort of, but then you have to incorporate the running, which is where you make the difference. So yeah, and going back to what Travis said, it's a sport where anybody can do it. No matter the time, there's people who don't go for time, and there's people like us, que son una fatiga, and we want to try to be the best time. So if you're not fit, just participate and finish it maybe in 1 hour 30, 1 hour 40, and that's a different goal to what we have. So it's open to anyone.
I think as well, like, because when you're racing, all the spectators are literally like a meter beside you. So you can have like your whole family and your friends screaming at your ear, and you have all of that support following you through the race, which not a lot of kind of events have, if that makes sense.
They abused you in Malaga, right?
Yeah.
It must get quite busy in there, really. You were
Very.
saying that in your race in Malaga, there's a lot of people around, it's hard not to trip over people. It's carnage.
Yeah, pretty much. It's controlled carnage, yeah.
So there's some people who respect, because when you run, there's 2 lanes. You got the inside, which is for 4 minutes below, and in the outside, there's the people who just run to participate and have fun. But there's some people who just slow and go in the inside, and when you're trying to pace yourself and go fast, you have to literally shout at them or actually push them out the way. But yeah, it's like, what, 40 people per heat?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's
More or
a
less.
heat every 10 minutes,
And half for Gibraltarian.
pretty much.
In Malaga, at least.
We didn't race with any Gibraltarian
In our
heat.
heat, no.
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 But just to paint a picture, because I've seen a lot of my friends and acquaintances pick it up, I mean, just how busy was it full of Gibraltarians in Malaga? Like, how many were there? Quite a lot there, no?
Definitely more than last year. This year there was loads and loads of Gibraltarians. Last year there was the odd ones, but this year you can tell it's really like had a big impact in Gib, and a lot of people are getting involved.
To be fair, we're not the only ones who do HYROX. There's certain people, for example, Stefan Amman in Strive, he has his own group. They all went up, and then you got Shane Hamaje, he has his own group. Then you got Absolute, they have their own group. And then there's a couple of regiment soldiers, Fausti, who's very strong in solos, 103, and a couple of them who train with them in the regiment, and possibly people who just don't know. But there is like a good, at least 40 to 50 who participated in Malaga, for sure.
Yeah.
And you're doing pretty much professional times now. Does that kind of elevate where you want to take HYROX, or is after a certain point that you break sub 60, it's a bit like you plateau there?
Sub 60, it's not necessarily something that is like a milestone in regards to the sport. It's more of a personal milestone. So we knew we wanted to go pro and take it as far as we can, but realistically, there's no point going pro if you can't beat a sub 60 time. So this whole time we wanted to break that time so we can then move forwards, and now we can enter the pro league and we can actually like give it everything we've got and take that sub 60 to the pro category. If that makes sense.
Tell us a bit more about going pro and what it entails now, being able to participate in the pro league.
More training, more running. To be fair, now we're gonna have after my Lisbon, we're gonna have a 5 or 6 months of a new block training, which we just smash the running, and we're hoping to do the same as we done in the open in the pro. So go sub 60 in the pro and take it from there, and that's gonna be, the more we train, the more we race, probably the more we will improve. So whatever my body takes and lasts. Que yo soy el viejo Lovell.
I was going to say, how does that work, the relationship between, I suppose, someone who's very experienced in fitness and a young and upcoming person like yourself?
I mean, it's good. When it comes to Justin, he has the experience when it comes to just racing in general and that kind of competitive mindset, which I kind of feed off because I don't have that experience. And he pushes me, he keeps me on my toes, and he makes sure that that level that I think I'm at that's good, there's always something I can go more. And that's something that I do need and I appreciate a lot, to be honest.
To be fair, I'm more like not a control freak, but I always tell him, just concentrate on running, keeping up, and I'll make sure we run at a certain time every lap. I'll make sure if we have to, for example, the stations we share. Sometimes, yes, I do a bit more for him to have an extra couple of breathers so we can run again at the same pace. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's about teamwork. So I use my strengths to help him, and he uses his strengths to help me. Como los lunges, por ejemplo, he's stronger than me. There's other sled, he's strong as well. So we both work to each other's advantage and make sure we last the same pace all the way.
We're going to carry on talking a bit about tactics in part 2. It's time for a short break. Back in a couple. Welcome back to the Sports Locker. We're talking HYROX with Justin and Travis Collado. Guys, talking a bit more about tactics. Tell us a bit how it works when you get to the first station. I mean, you must have a game plan already in mind before you start, no?
Yeah. So, before any race, we'll always kind of give a breakdown, because we'll see where we're at with our training or running in certain stations, and we'll kind of have a game plan that we try to stick to. But when it comes to getting on the race, you can try to stick to that plan as much as possible, but things happen. And you may feel one person may be good, feel good, one may not feel as good. And it's a lot of adapting and communication the whole race to kind of put each other in a best position to do good, if that makes sense.
Does that mean you benefit from training together, or you do a lot of your solo training and then just, you know each other's going to show up on the day?
We basically follow the same program, but we have completely different shifts. I work only days, he works more nights. So to be able to train together is not that easy. But obviously we chat every day through WhatsApp, and we make sure we do the same things and we compare times, and we do get together every now and then for track, which is what I really need him to push with me, because if I push, he's going to push behind me. So the rest we'll all do in our own times, and then we'll just show up with the tactics and see how we feel on the day. Sometimes sometimes it goes out the window since the first one.
Like you can pick up an injury.
Yeah.
Like it happened to him. He picked up an injury. He didn't say nothing to me. I more or less knew because I know the times we can keep up running. So I kept on giving him a faster kilometer and then a slower kilometer, faster kilometer, until we passed the halfway. And then we just a matter of survival mode in the red line all the way.
It's pretty much just surviving.
You mentioned taking on the stations that you feel strongest in, but when you do it solo, I guess, there's no hiding, is there really? So how much difficult is that? How much more difficult is that?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily more difficult, because in doubles you have a breath, but it's a much faster pace that you're going at. Whereas solos, you have to be a lot smarter with how you kind of attack those stations and the runs to not allow yourself to gas out quickly. So I wouldn't say it's harder, but it's a very different style of running or like racing, I'd say, definitely.
Is there a station you've had to work particularly hard on to get good at?
In the last 5 months, basically all.
If you want to get to that level, no?
If you want to get to the level, you have to be at a high standard in all of them. Something we've worked hard is try and make a ski and a rower a recovery. So that's like at the start where the hype's gone very high, and then in the middle where the rower, I use it as a recovery. So for me, using rower as a recovery means halfway through I can still push. Pero there's people who struggle loads in wall balls, burpees. Pero if you don't train all of them...
Yeah.
For me, it's mainly the running, I think. The stations I feel relatively comfortable with, but it's definitely the running, getting the running more efficient. That would be my one.
And having said that, I mean, the whole thing takes place in a big pavilion kind of style. The Gibraltar gyms tend to be quite small. Is it hard to train everything properly in Gibraltar?
The equipment isn't really there, unfortunately, in Gibraltar. There's a lot of missing, like, specific equipment or the specific, like, for example, wall ball targets or sleds. And it is tricky. I do have to go to Spain a lot to train, but Gib, the only one that I could really train in would probably be Europa Point. That's probably where I train the most.
I train every day in Spain. I go to the ocean box where I've been member and friends for like 4 or 5 years. I do have to say, mention Stefan from Strive, who is literally allowed me to train in his gym in let's say Silent Towers, to train the sleds. And that's been very helpful for me, to be fair. But most of my training I do in Spain or during working hours, lunchtimes. I train. If I go to a track, or I wake up at 6 in the morning to run, when I have double sessions.
Does it excite you then turning pro? Because the more we talk about it, the more it kind of seems like it's a lot of hard work. Eh?
Yeah, it's hard work, but it's very rewarding. It's exciting. I love it, to be honest. I love the training and I love the ambiente that this race always brings.
Taking you back to Malaga then, talk a bit more about that sub 60 minutes, which was vital, I guess, in terms of going pro and a personal achievements. What's the feeling like when you cross the finish line and you look at the clock and it's so tight with just a second to spare?
Incredible. I couldn't describe the feeling with my friends, family then. We've worked so hard to get that done. It was such a good experience and feeling. It was so good.
There's a small video going around social media which has gone viral like crazy. And those 20 seconds actually explain where it is.
Yeah.
Like us sprinting to the lane, both of us watching our watches to see he falls, trips through, and then all of a sudden just 59, and all the crowd cheering for us. Like we were expecting to achieve it, but not so tight.
No, so yeah.
Do you feel like this is a bit of a trend now, the spike in participation, or is this something that's here to stay long term?
I'd say it's a little bit of a trend, to be honest. A lot of people, a lot of influencers, a lot of people doing it. But I also do think it is a really good sport, and I think it is here for the long term, to be honest.
You see it like that as well?
To be fair, I think it's going to stay for long. Because there's more people every time challenging themselves, triathletes, marathons, HYROX.
Yeah.
And I think it's a matter of time where it's going to grow more people are going to get into it, and more people are going to do what we're doing. There's a couple who are just going to jump in the pro as well, who have good solo timings, and it's a matter of time that the sport is just going to get better and better. And the people obviously get better and better, and then they will have more crowd to join different races.
In terms of the lifespan in an athlete competing in this, I mean, marathon runners can tend to go quite old because there's no real like weightlifting involved. But because this involves both things, is it hard to see yourself with a long lifespan at the top level of the sport?
Roglic is what, in the 40s, 30s, 40s?
Most of the higher athletes now, let's say the elite 15, I think there's only like 3 or 4. Charlie Brotelli, who's younger, and the rest are all 30 plus.
Yeah.
He's the one that has loads of years ahead.
Hopefully it's not a trend for you then.
No, this is definitely for the long term for me.
People underestimate the running really because it's 1 kilometer between stations.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about when you are on that 1 kilometer run. Does it feel like an eternity? Does that feel like the rest, or?
It depends, because the first 1 kilometer run is a completely night and day difference to the 1K run after you've done 80 meters of burpee broad jumps or sandbag lunges.
Pushing and so on. Yeah.
So it's completely different feeling on your legs when you're running after those stations, especially when you're doing doubles where you're really basically redlined the whole way. But it's.
To be fair, I was the one that keeping time of, it was 3 laps. I was constantly just making sure we were making the lap in 120, between 110 and 120. So they all add up to 4 minutes, 4 minutes low, 4 minutes 5. So my running was constantly watching at my watch for 8 kilometers. Yeah, and then just get into the stations and telling him like we're on time, or we need to press, or we have it. I remember him telling him the third run, Travis, is too fast. We're not going to sustain it.
You slow down.
So we had to slow down because we were running at 3:45 pace the first 3 kilometers, and it's like we're not going to sustain this for the whole race. So I was actually managing the time constantly. So my runs went like really fast.
When you get to the finish line, does it involve both of you having to cross the finish line for the time to be registered, I imagine?
Yeah.
And you were struggling with an injury to cross it, to talk us through that last kilometer run.
That last kilometer run, I think it was just 100% just survival instinct, to be honest with you. It was because I had Jeremy, one of my friends, in the corner of the runs, just screaming completely ungodly things at me to get me running, to be honest. And as soon as I ran there, he got there, must have been like 15 seconds earlier than I did, because I was trying to keep up. I got there. As soon as I finished the last wall ball, my ankle, I could feel it. We ran. I think I was running with my knees bent and everything because I didn't have time to like stand up and be. He crossed first. As soon as you get, because of like ankle monitors which track the time. As soon as I went over the finish line, I don't think I could stand anymore. And I just did a roly-poly over the finish line pretty much.
What's the recovery like after a major race like that then? Because the body takes a toll, but of course you need to maintain the level of fitness for the next HYROX.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did feel my quads the next day, but as I have no time, I'll run again next weekend, so I kept just doing light things recovery until now, which I feel fine, and just working through the week until next week where I go to Lisbon again.
Because now you're going different directions. You're going to Cardiff to do one solo.
Yeah.
You're going to Lisbon. How often in your calendar do you plan on HYROX? And tell us a bit about the circuit and how often there is one available, really.
There's loads everywhere around the world. There's a HYROX, so options are quite good. But now they're selling out like anything. So you have to be on it as soon as it comes out. If not, it just sells out. So we normally go for the ones in Spain, no?
There's basically a race every weekend,
Yeah.
and even 2 races every weekend. But we tend to do the ones closer, which is the Bilbao, Malaga, Madrid, Valencia, Barcelona. There's 2. So our next one is going to be Valencia, the first pro one, and then just plan for the first half of next year and get together in a couple of races.
Yeah.
Is it expensive then, I suppose? Because you do have to do a bit of travelling. Yeah. Is there a fee to register as well?
I think it's like £125 a ticket specifically. And then when you add the hotel and everything, if you do a lot of them, it can be expensive. But if you do it as like a one-off or whatever, it's
a bit of a fitness holiday, no?
Yeah, exactly.
There's benefits.
That's pretty much what all my holidays are at this point.
Justin, I want to say, extra credit to you because the weekend you did the Malaga HYROX was intense. Let's say more than a week because you were involved in helping the Pool Nations Cup. That week for you must have been not just physically but mentally draining before even getting to the race.
You've been involved or seeing what's happened in the pool in the Nations Cup. We had to set up all those tables.
That was a training itself, no?
Eso fue una locura. To be fair, obviously, Jonathan has done a magnificent job there. Then I was actually a player and manager during the week. So during the week I was managing, playing. The extra hour I had, go home, jump on the bike, waking up at 7 in the morning. And then actually Saturday was my last match, and Sunday I woke up at 7 and drove to Malaga and spent the day there, raced, got my car and
back
down because I had the presentation and the finals. So it's been crazy.
Were you concerned? Were you like, Justin, they had the road again when you're in top form for Sunday?
To be honest, not really. He's always on it. Like I can rely on him 24/7. To be honest.
Now that you've checked off the sub 60 minutes, what's your next goal? World Championships? How far can you take it now?
World Championship would be amazing, but we understand it just takes time. It just takes time and just staying consistent with it, to be honest. But that would be an incredible goal to get there.
That's something I always tell my little friend here. You have to be realistic. And from us to the World Championships, there is still a lot of work and a long process. I might not even have time to reach. I'm just 37 ya.
In his prime. He's in his prime.
Because you are in your early 20s?
23.
23.
Yeah.
There is...
Are you eyeing up your next partner?
I have faith.
Before that happens, he's going to have to run faster than me. It is a big ask for World Championships. You have to be fair. You have to be... people are running at the 330 kilometer in between stations. That is massive
to
ask.
qualify, I think you would need to be pushing about 55 minutes, 55 to 56 minutes to get a spot and to compete in the World Championship. So it's not unrealistic, but it's a lot of work. It is. So hopefully we can get there before you.
Well, guys, best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck. That's it for this week's Sports Locker. Lots to talk about in HYROX. There's something that you particularly might want to get involved in. Don't hesitate. Get in touch with either of these two guys. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help out. Until next time, see you next week.